just thinking, Cousin Pat, strange things happen in the country. There are strange things. There are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in all your philosophies, as my good friend William Shakespeare says. Well, I'm going to tell you, do you believe in ghosts?
Well, I would, to tell you the truth, yeah.
Do you intend to become a ghost yourself when your time comes?
Well, I'll leave that to somebody else.
Well, I suppose you torture enough people when you're alive. Why stop when you're dead? But I'm going to tell you a story. This is true, Cousin Pat.
Like all your stories?
Absolutely. Do you doubt them? I would hope not. But anyway.
I don't like to offend you, but go on ahead.
My father, and this is a true story, and a friend were walking along the roads in a dark part of Fermanagh. And down a dark lane, they could see the silhouette of a house. And as they approached the house, suddenly every light in the house went on, and it became as bright as anything. And they both knew that the house was derelict. And the two of them, very gingerly and very, very timidly, made their way along the lane, got up to the house. Black, dark, empty. They thought, well, that's strange. They walked on, back up the lane, and they both turned round at the same time. And every light in the house was on. And do you know what steps they took? Very large ones. They got away as quick as they could. Now, aren't there some strange houses in the country?
Aye. Well, whenever you mentioned about that kind of a house, and you mentioned Fermanagh, it just brought it into my mind about, it was a lane as well the story took place in. It was a long lane, and there were 3 houses in the lane. And this story happened during the war, Second World War. Did you ever hear the evacuees?
I did indeed. That's the people who came down here from the city.
That's right.
Yeah.
They come down from Belfast where it had been safer out in the country. Well, this happened outside Temple. And there's a long lane, and there were 3 houses, as I said. There was a young married couple moved into the first lane and went to the first house. The next house was empty, and the evacuees got it. And poor old Packy lived in the very last house in the lane. Oh, this, it was about 3/4 of a mile from the road to Packy's house. And the evacuees moved in, and one of the girls got a job in the factory in 5 Mile Town. And she used to come down and she'd wait on the bus in the morning to the job. And Packy, he was coming down with a creamery can on the torch barrow, and he wheeled it down to the end of the road. And the girl was standing waiting on the bus. So Packy had a bit of chat on her, and God, they met every morning. And here this morning, Packy landed down, and he had a brown envelope in his pocket. And he says, there's an envelope, and you know I'm not good at the reading. You wouldn't open it up and tell me what it says. So Packy opened, or the lassie opened up the envelope, and it was from the Milk Marketing Board. And wrote, and it was that there was foreign bodies in the milk. Wonder the girl knew what it meant, but you know, it was a nice way of putting it. There was foreign bodies in the milk. It was really, there was dirt in the milk, but that was the way it was. Right. But Packy was in the town the next day, and he met a neighbour man, and the neighbour man says to him, any word of the war, or how's it getting on, or how's the Germans doing? Well, he says, I don't know how they're doing, but he says, I'll tell you one thing, they were in my milk yesterday. That was what Packy knew about foreign bodies. No, but hold on a minute. You know what happened then?
What?
He put a bit of chat on her. So he did. He put a bit of chat on her, and he took a notion of her. I'm telling you. He took a notion of her, and he thought he'd pop the question. And he mentioned it to one of the neighbours. And the neighbour says, Oh, because no, that lassie wouldn't be interested in you. Packy says, it doesn't give a dang, I'm going to ask her. So because one morning after about 9 months chatting, he asked her to marry her. And because lo and behold, she said she would. But on the one condition, that there'd be a honeymoon. And Packy scratched his head. He knew all about a full moon and a half moon and even a quarter moon. By God, Packy knew nothing about a honeymoon. And it was very short, because they were home that evening. And they landed into the yard after a long day, and Packy said to the girl, would you go on ahead and make yourself a drop of tea and make yourself upstairs. I have the hens to feed. I have the eggs to lift, I have the pigs to feed, I have the calves to feed, and I have the seed of the cows. When I have all that done, I'll be in. So the lassie went in and she didn't bother about the tea. And she went up the stairs and she got into the bed. And she could hear the buckets rattling round the yard. And gradually the rattling of the buckets came a bit nearer and nearer to the door. And went to the door, opened it. She heard the range rattling. After about a good 15 minutes, Packy rolled into the bed beside her. And he said, good night. Well, she lay for about 5 minutes. And she gave him a dig in the side. She says, Packy, darling, I'm well cold. Well, what did he do? He riz and he lifted about 3 coats off the back of the door and he threw them over in the bed and he got back into the bed. And she says again, she says, Packy, she says, I'm still well cold. He got up and he went downstairs and he filled her a hot water bottle. I brought it up and he put it in at her feet. Well, she lay for about another 10 minutes and finally she says, Packy, she says, when I was at home with Mommy and I was cold, she put her 2 arms round me and cuddled me into her. You know what Packy said? Listen here, my girl. I'll put coats in the bed and I'll fill a hot water bottle. But I'm danged if I'm going to Belfast for your mother tonight. And that's a true story.
Pat, there's somebody at the door, Cousin Pat.
Hi. Pat,
Hello,
I brought you some turf because the riches are burning them, but that you'll soon be none left.
Well,
But-
here, put them in there, will you?
Put them in.
Here, sure, empty them out, will you?
That's enough, that's enough.
That'll do, yeah. Are you leaving the whole bag with me?
Well, I'll bring you more after a while, sure.
Right, let's throw it down there. It's all right. God, you're
All right then, Pat.
You're a decent old critter.
That's all right then, I'll be back later, sure.
Hey, come here, come
What?
here. Look, hey, me and him sitting, and I'm sick listening to him, and he's sick listening to me. Wouldn't be any chance you'd give us a blurt of a song, would you? Did you know he was a good singer?
I did not. The turf
telling
man
you.
from our day.
Go on, give us a song, will you?
Right. Any particular one you want?
Not whatever tickles your fancy.
Maybe one you know.
Right. Two lonely Irish exiles at the closing of the day had met to talk of bygone times in Ireland far away. Said the one, I love America, its laws are just and fair, but it's harvest time in Ireland, and I'm longing to be there. When it's harvest time in Ireland, I would crave no better boon than to see those cornfields once again, again beneath the harvest moon. For all those years of exile, 1 hour would atone. But let me spend that hour amid the cornfields of Tyrone. Last night I dreamed of Ireland, saw home and friends so dear. The laughter from the cornfields rang joyfully and clear. I saw the ripening corn as I saw it oft before, make Tyrone one golden valley from Strabane to Carrickmore. And I'm lonely with a longing that the Irish only knows, a longing for the breezes that like soft caresses blow, as they rustle like a whisper through the fields of ripening grain. But my heart still turns to Ireland when the harvest comes again. When it's harvest time in Ireland, I will crave no better boon than to see those cornfields once again beneath the harvest moon. For all those years of exile, 1 hour would atone. But let me spend that hour amid the cornfields of Tyrone. But let me spend that hour amid the cornfields of Tyrone. What about that, Pat? What about that?
What did you think of that?
Beautiful.
It's not good
Beautiful.
singing. God, that is.
What
I'll
I'm
tell you now,
Come here.
Pat.
Are
I'm in a sort of a hurry, but what do you want now?
you in a hurry?
I'm in a wee bit of a
Well, you're
hurry.
in a wee bit. Well, I'll tell you what, hey. You see when you carried in that bag of turf?
Aye.
I wrote a thing the other night, and I wouldn't mind if you just sit down there until you hear it.
Right.
Sit down a minute. It's titled A Day in the Bog. A day in the bog you'll never forget. You can count yourself lucky if you didn't get wet. First one place on earth, I swear by my soul, if you're cutting or wheeling, you'll never be cold. Now, filling's a job, it's a job on its own. If you don't know how to do it, you'd be better at home. There's a knack in the shoveling you need to know too. If you run out of ground, then what would you do? Well, the fella can turn them this way and that, but use the shovel, so keep them well back. A day in the bog, I'm sure you'll agree, a day in the bog is meant just for 3. With 2 you're a hanging, and 4 is a load. Aye, 3 in the bog's all you can afford. Well, when the hunger it hits you, you think you're bait. For the tea in the bog, it always is late. Then it's back to the cutting and filling and wheeling away. Boys, there's nothing as nice as a wee drop of tea. When the shovel flew you about in big, long, black ridges, then straight out of nowhere, an attack from the midges. Now this I must tell you in my knowledgeable poem. When the midges mean business, you may head straight for home. But when the turf is all out, your work will not stop. There's turning and spreading and footing the lot. There's wriggling and clamping till your back it is broke. A good day in the bog is only a joke. When they're ready for home and you think it is great, just check out your carrot before it's too late. Finally you've made it, your job is complete. They're in a stack or a shed at the top of the street. Then you can sit down and lie back at your leisure The one good thing about turf, burning's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Very good, Pat. Very good.
You didn't think I'd come out with some
well,
hey, come here.
That's a good
look,
way,
hey,
Pat. Well, I'll
I'm
be going.
impressed.
I'll be heading home.
tell me this. What is your rush? Have you something else on?
I've a way of things to do when I go home.
Here, look. There's a thing there lying about here, and he's trying to blow on it, and I'm trying to blow on it. In fact, I bought myself a smaller one. You see that? That's the kind of way I'm footering on it.
That's a wild wee
But
one,
maybe
Pat.
you may give us a tune on that, would you?
What kind of what is it?
Well,
What's that on the side of her?
you can make no hot of
No,
that.
that's the clutch.
Clutch?
The clutch.
That's the clutch. Right. He reckons that's the clutch.
If you want to stop, clutch.
Maybe
Different
does it need
key.
to be tuned?
A different key. No, it's a different key, yeah.
Right.
If you
Oh,
press, that's a different key.
Right.
That was beautiful. Now, why can't you play like that?
Well, no, I have tried that there.
I
Look.
thought you were missing a wee bit there, but maybe she's all right.
Maybe that is not long enough.
That's a wild short one, Pat, that one. Eh?
Come here. Do you think if I called down some night, would you give me a lesson on it?
Well, I could try.
Well, if you do
Try,
harm in
Pat.
trying.
That's a
But
wild
here,
wee one. You would want to.
never mind all that for now. Would there be one more song in you before you go?
Another one.
Aye.
What do we say, Pat? What about a wee sort of well, I'm thinking of one here, all right.
Take your time, so there's no hurry.
While I was walking with no thought in my mind to pass along our way, sure I met with a man you know very well. He only lives up the Long Brae. Well, we talked about farming and the price of the stock, and he seemed to get very upset. He says we are robbed, and everyone knows Maggie Thatcher will ruin us yet. He says I've been working since I've left Dewey School, and never a holiday got. And now that I'm 60 and I still have to work, let the weather be freezing or hot. He said we bought land when the times they were bad, no sub on the tillage or cow, but we wrought night and day at Perties and Flax, and we're buying our dinner just now. Sure, this town land of ours you may travel all round, and not a damn spud would ye get. But if you went down to Wooly Donny's plot, they say he's a big garden set. He says the young men won't work anymore, for fear they might spoil their white hands. No wonder an old boy like me gets fed up, sure this country has got out of hand. They would sit on a tractor and smoke cigarettes and chat about some big show band, and the food that they're eating's not fit to be ate. Sure, the most of it comes out of cans. They would chat about women till they'd muddle your head, and laugh till they'd make themselves whores. And when they get married, sure, the next thing you'll hear, they are trying to get a divorce. Says I'm a good man, sure I hadn't much sense, and for brains sure I never had known. But I knew to stop working when I wasn't fit, when I seen the way things they were going. So now if you listen and take my advice, the slavery and working give o'er, for before very long she'll leave it behind, and they'll wonder ye hadn't got more. Well, the good book tells us that we never should hoard, only earn what it takes for your keep. Pay the labourer his wages and feed him also, and alms to the poor we must give. Well, he gave a great roar and he turned round to me, saying, do you think I've got nothing to do on a good day like this? Only stand here and chat till a half-witted idiot like you. You could sit in the house from morning till night, unless that you want to go out and wait on the boys and their fine motor cars to come in and buy whiskey and stout. Well, I thought I would leave him before he get cross, for I knew it was all in vain. But maybe someday this man will see sense, and then I might chat him again. Is that all right, Pat?
Very good.
Eh?